So it's the morning after the shambolic performance from the day before, and I've made my mind up on Nuno. Welcome to your post-match reaction. Hi guys, hope you're doing well, and welcome to the video where I'm going to be giving you my thoughts about my stance with Nuno. I'm slept on it and I'm still angry. I can't lie to you. So maybe there is a little bit of emotion attached to what I'm just about to say about him, but I'm going to come at this with a measured approach and I'll explain all in just a second. So if you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed as well, because we are closer than close to 30,000 subscribers. And let me know in the comments down below, are you Nuno in or are you Nuno out? And this is what the video is going to be about. I'm going to come out and say it clean. I'm Nuno out. I've made my mind up. I've tried to approach this objectively and kind of weigh up the pros and cons. And this is what I'm going to be discussing with you guys. Now, this isn't a Nuno out like I was Cooper out. Cooper was going to relegate us. If Nuno stays, I think Forest will still do okay. It's just all the shenanigans that are going on off the field that are driving me to my decision, as well as some of the stuff that's going on the field. But I want to start with the off the field stuff. Ever since those rumours first came out that Forest were looking to sack Nuno, and I can categorically tell you that that wasn't coming from the club, that started to put me into Nuno doubts. And then he drops the grenade about in the presser. We all know it. We don't need to go through it and everything else. And I've never sided with him on it. I was on his side when he was saying in that Sky Sports interview that Forest hadn't done enough business, we're not ready, so on and so forth, because I was getting annoyed with the transfer window. But to still be annoyed with the players that have come in, forget the players that come in, let's say the quality of the players that have walked through that door, to give him, as he always says, solutions. That's his key buzzword. There's a solution in every single position, in every single formation that you could want to play at Forest. If he wanted to play a back three, he's got the facilities to do that. If he wanted to go a 4-3-3, he can do that. If he wants to stick to a 4-2-3-1 with variations of players, he can do that. If he wanted to go a flat 4-4-2, which I would not recommend, he could do that. So there's no excuses for him to still be crying about transfers. Now, yes, we still need a bit of cover at fullback. I agree with that still, and Forest have addressed it. We've got the right back, and Cuabano is basically doing his medical right now. Now, do I think they're good enough? That's a whole other story. But whatever way you want to look at it, Forest have addressed those positions for him, and he wanted, on top of Angus Gunn, a further goalkeeper. Forest went out and brought John Victor in for him. So Forest has done everything to keep him happy in terms of bringing the players into the squad. But let's not forget, Nuno himself does not like working with a 25-man squad. He likes it between 18 and 22 players. So he in himself is contradicting what he's saying, because you can say European campaign and all this. He did a European campaign with Wolves on a thin squad because he chose to do it. We saw last January, and we told you that the reports were out to say that the money was there if Nuno wanted to strengthen going into the second half of the season, and he chose not to. And he paid the price with that. Nuno is the reason we got European football, and Nuno is also the reason we bottled Champions League football. And Nuno's form, just before I go into the form, the other thing as well is that for me, the club comes first, always, and then Marinakis, because what he's done for the club. For this situation to resolve itself, it will mean that Marinakis has to make concessions to Nuno. And to me, that would come across as basically undermining Marinakis' position, or Marinakis showing weakness. Now, some people may say, oh, that's good, Marinakis showing compromise. I understand that narrative, but I wouldn't agree with it. Marinakis has to run the upper echelons of the club as a dictatorship. He has not just Forest to worry about. He's got Olympiacos, Real Ave out, Monza, the Brazilian stuff he's doing. All these clubs come under his umbrella. Yes, Forest is extremely important within there, but he also has to protect his investments. And him bringing Edu was his choice. Nuno does not get a say in that appointment. Marinakis owns the club, not Nuno. Now, if there is a concession made, that let's just say this is an argument over the likes of transfers. We know Traore plays a big part in this. If Marinakis now turns around and says to Nuno, you know what, Nuno, to keep you happy, in January you get to say a final veto or whatever on the players that comes in. That undermines the structure that Marinakis chose to build. And what does that say to the next manager who comes in? And let's face it, managers come and go. It will happen at some point. Nuno will leave, someone else will come, they'll leave, etc. Right? We'll still be here. Maybe Marinakis will be. But if a manager is coming in after, let's just say this concession happens and Nuno stays till the end of the year and then has a great season and ends up going, I don't know, Real Madrid or something. The next manager that comes in sees that Marinakis has the setup, they don't quite like it, and they'll be like, well, if you want me to join, Nuno got to have a veto on the transfers, I want that same veto or I'm not joining. It undermines the position. And these structures now are structures that are just normal in football clubs. There's a sporting directors, there's a recruitment team. Managers are not managers, they are head coaches, and they need to stop getting above their station. So that's one of the points I've got there. The other thing on the off the field stuff is that I am in the firm belief, and it's my subjective opinion, that Nuno does want to be sacked because he can't get on with Edu. There's no way that Edu's leaving, and there's no way it feels like those two can get along because Nuno's going to want concessions. Edu won't want to make concessions. Remember this key fact on Edu. The reason Edu left Arsenal was for two main reasons. He liked the idea of joining a multi-club ownership, and secondly, he did not have enough power at Arsenal because of Arteta. So he was not going to join the Marinakis organisation without reassurances of his role and his powers within that. So there's going to be a clash, whatever. If there's concessions towards Nuno, then Edu is going to be undermined and Edu is going to feel that promises weren't kept to him. So this is a complicated scenario, and the easiest resolution of it is to move on from Nuno. So my main reasons for being Nuno out right now are what's happening off the pitch. Now, don't get me wrong. If Nuno goes and beats Arsenal and then wins another 5 games in a row, cool. I can put those thoughts in the back of my mind to one side. But they will still be there. At some point or other, this is going to rear its ugly head again when we get into January, when we get into the summer transfer window, etc. Right? So those are the reasons for the off the pitch stuff. Now to talk about the on the pitch stuff. I cannot overlook any longer, and I don't think I have, but the substitutions. This may seem like a small, petty, pedantic point, but it is an extremely important point. I can't see how many other Premier League managers outside the big four or whatever they are these days would not give their right arm to have the options that Nuno has on that bench. He has 2 potential strikers. He had Igor Jesus, Callum Wilson. He's got wingers there and cams in McAtee, Hutchinson. He's got Douglas Luiz, one of the best potential midfielders in the Premier League in the last 5 years in terms of what he can do on the pitch. He's got experienced defenders on there, young defenders that he can pick from. There's so many options. And he's not utilizing those options in a proactive way. It's always reactive. And if you want to call 2 of his substitutions proactive yesterday, they didn't change the game. I've sat here and I've tried to think about a time Nuno has made a substitution that has directly impacted the result for Forest. Yesterday, Somerville comes on, instant reaction. Callum Wilson comes on, and I'm thinking it's goddamn prime Henri coming on there yesterday. That is impact. And that's against a club who are in complete turmoil right now. Harry Potter was on his last leg, and he had to win yesterday to save his job. So what's Nuno going to do against a club that's more organised? And because it's so proactive, and the changes that we made, the only change I can think of where I felt that there was an impact was when we beat Villa last season, when we came from behind and he brought Elanga on. That changed the game. Outside of that, I can't think. If you can think of one, please let me know in the comments down below. So that's the other thing. And the other one, and the big one for me, is the style of play. Forest cannot break down a low block. West Ham played it perfectly yesterday. When Forest had the ball, they got 10 men behind the ball, good shape, good banks of kind of fours in there, no space. Forest were clueless on how to break it down. And when they attacked well and played a bit higher up. We were just passing the ball side to side, side to side, side to side. Nothing in terms of creativity. There was no energy, no pace in it. This was throughout the first half. The passing was woeful in the first half. And at halftime, he had to make a change. Letting Gibbs White re-enter that pitch in the second half is a sackable offence in itself because he was having an absolute stinker. I remember when Forest played Fulham, was it last year or the year before, at Nuno's first season, when we played Fulham and we went 2 or 3 goals up, Marco Silva made 3 substitutions after 28 minutes because he realised he got it wrong. There is no shame in knowing you got it wrong. Look, loads of you would have agreed with the team selection yesterday. There's no harm. There's nothing really wrong with the team he selected. Yes, I would have made a couple of changes. But to then be stubborn enough to not change it at halftime or in the first half like Marco Silva did shows me too much of an ego there or too much a lack of understanding about how to be proactive. And that's my big bugbearer right now, is he's not changing it. He's not reading the feel of the game at all. And then you bring on Callum Wilson and you bring on Hutchinson when we're 2-0 down. He said it himself in his post-match interview. The game was done and dusted. Cool, so why are you bringing them on for 2 minutes? Like, is there some rule that they got to break into a sweat so they're allowed to have a shower after the game or what? That's the other thing. And this style thing, we were told over the summer it was going to change. When has it changed? I think I'll speak on my behalf. I was catfished with the Brentford game. I looked at that Brentford game and thought, wow, that first half, high pressing football, winning the ball high up the pitch, forcing mistakes, creating chances, creating goals. And then against Palace, didn't see it. And yesterday against West Ham, didn't see it. I have not enough evidence to show me there's a clear pattern that a style is changing. Because when we are in possession, we do nothing with it. Sideways, backwards, sideways. Cross it in, headers away. Long ball over the top, over hits. Same easy patterns to read. And this is the big point now. The other teams have sussed out Nuno's tactics. It was so easy for Harry Potter yesterday. All he had to do was make sure he had his banks of 4 lined up and said, just give him the ball. Just concentrate for 90 minutes, give him the ball. They will make a couple of mistakes. We will get some chances. But trust me, they don't know how to break down a low block team. Case in point, Everton last season, Brentford last season, Leicester wasn't, but it was a disaster of a result. So that's where I am with Nuno. Does he survive these next 2 weeks? I don't know, but he's got some serious questions to answer. And I'll be honest with you, his post-match interview pissed me off. One of the BBC, where he was asked, do you still want to go on? And he's like, yeah, I do. It's like, that's not the answer I want. If you really want this job, life and death scenario, yes, I want this job. I want to hear authority in that voice. I want to hear passion in that voice. Not, yeah, let me smile. It's just, this is where I am right now. I don't think I'm going to change my mind either. Go beat Arsenal. Cool. Go beat then who we got? Burnley and Sunderland, I think. Fantastic. But at some point, these niggles will resurface themselves. And I think it's better off to do it now than down the road when there aren't decent managers available to come in. And that's the question I get asked a lot. Well, if you want to get rid of Nuno, then who? I'll say it again. When I break up a relationship, I break up the relationship. I don't say, all right, I'm going to sit here and wait and see which girl's going to come through the door next. And then I'm going to think about it. Then I'll check with her if she, likes the idea of hooking up. And then I'll get rid of who I'm with now. No, you get rid of the person you're with. You then move on to the next one. And there are names available. There are names that Forest could go and get. We could go and get Glasner. He's not happy. Marco Silva's not happy at Fulham. Some of you would want Jose Mourinho. I don't want him personally, but that's a big name. He will attract players. There's pros and cons to all these managers. Ange is the one being linked. Ange is being used as a smokescreen. Let me make that clear to you now. They're saying that name to Forest fans so that Nuno just sounds more attractive. Ange won't be coming to Forest. But anyway, that's where I am right now on everything. Yes, my head still is a little hot, but this is where I am. Look, we'll do a transfer show live tonight about 5:30, 6 o'clock. Take you through the final signings and everything else. I just needed to rant and get this off my chest. I hope it's come across in the way it's meant to be. You know, I'm not ready to hold banners up and, you know, stage protests outside the City ground gates. But we are here and it needs to be sorted. Because the uncertainty, whether you're Nuno in or out, the uncertainty is the worst thing. This drags on past these 2 weeks. If this meeting gets delayed, you know, and that's one final point I'll make here, is if this is such a huge issue, and clearly it is, you clear your diaries and you get it sorted then and there. You don't say, oh, okay, you know, we got the European draw to do. Oh, we got to sort out the match day preparations for Palace and then for West Ham. There's been plenty of time. Jump on a freaking Zoom call or whatever and get it done. 2 weeks down the line and we're still talking about it. This uncertainty is not good. Make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. We'll see you tonight on the live. Get your thoughts in the comments. Come on, you Reds.